Hello, horror fans. It's me, Cass, and
Kylee.
And Cristina Moody.
Yeah, you have Cristina
Cristina
Moody.
Moody.
If you guys watched our review of Bad Voodoo, you would know that we fangirled. We weren't even trying to play that cool. Like, we weren't. We were like, this is the star. Like, this is the Mac
also,
scene.
Hold on a minute. Also, if you've seen our review for Bad Voodoo and still have not watched it, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing?
True.
That's true.
That's true. Because the amount of times that, like, we've tagged everything and shared Andre's post, everyone's post, you guys should know about this. So go back. If you haven't watched our review, watch the review. Go watch Bad Voodoo. If you like Bad Voodoo, go purchase it through Amazon and get the physical copy and then come back to this review. So, but at this point in time, Bad Voodoo is on all VOD platforms. So you guys can go ahead and check it out. But Christina is one of the main components of Bad Voodoo, and she really just brings out the ferocity in this role. Kind of just brings everything to the forefront that we talk about with horror, with portraying a mother who's lost so much that then decides to go down this really dark path to kind of get what she feels is justice. And what we learn sometimes is the justice we ask for might not always be the justice we want. And that's really what happens. So, and voodoo's scary, you guys. I don't know what you're talking about, but this whole entire movie, like, I couldn't. I'm like,
I haven't seen a lot of horror movies with voodoo that I could really even recall. So I was just like, oh my God, that's voodoo.
Nice
that is,
twist, wasn't it?
Yes. I loved it. Every second of it.
It was incredible. And I think after we did our review, we actually did Tales from the Hood. And the only one that I think could go bar for their portrayal of, like, voodoo in such a, like, it's on the person, whether it's evil or good, is like that segment in Tales from the Hood that's KKK comeuppance, where it's the woman that she's the voodoo priestess and she, like, seals everything for these people who have really lost a lot, and then this racist man just, like, gets his comeuppance with really dolls. It's just it's a really crazy moment. So, but we absolutely loved Christina's performance, and we are totally going to get into it.
Welcome to the Horrorcraft Podcast.
All right, we are back. We are back with Cristina Moody, who is the incomparable main character behind Bad Voodoo, which is an incredible movie. Cristina, without giving too much away, if somebody in our audience hasn't seen Bad Voodoo, how would you describe it in your own words?
I would say it's a good feeling of don't mess with the ones that I love. It is a true mother's rage to what could, if someone hurts my kids, I'm going to find everything I can in my power to destroy you. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
that's exactly, I would agree. And that's exactly what Abigail does. So to basically sum it up, Christina's character, Abigail, loses her children. And she's kind of coping with that the best way possible. We're going to leave it kind of ambiguous for certain plot points because I want everyone to just go in as blind as possible and love it as much as, but she has some intruders come in and we find out that everything might not be what it seems. And sometimes what you're asking for in the universe is not exactly what you are going to get. And it devolves into crazy ways. Like, I don't know how many times I was like, oh, this is going to be the ending. And I'm like, nope, that's not the ending.
Nope.
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 And when
Nope.
the ending did
Nope.
come, I remember calling Kylee, and there are very few movies that have this right. And going, what did I watch? How do I process this? What happened? And she was like, I know, bro, I know. And I was like, what? And we just started talking about it, but it is a great movie when I do that. Kylee automatically knows that, like, yep, Cass finished watching the movie and she loved it because she's calling me to tell me that it's fucked up. So, and that's a high honor.
Pretty much.
So,
pretty much.
I mean, Andre, if you're listening to this, we're definitely going to have you come on because I want to know where this came from, man. I just want to know, like, in the most respectful way possible. This is fucked up, but in a really good way. That's a good thing coming from us, okay? But like, we loved it, but like, I just need to know where. So,
it wouldn't be the first time we've asked a director, like, are you okay? What goes on in your brain to make something like this?
I mean, respectfully.
It's not a bad thing, though. Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. We love that, but like we also feel like we come up with those crazy kind of like concepts. So we like to know where it comes from other people's minds. So, Christina, I know we talked off camera, but I know you're not as big of a horror fan. Just because of like terror, which I trust me, I get, because it took me a long way to get where I'm at now. Like little Cass is like, girl, you're talking about these movies and I couldn't even make it through Nightbreed. That guy started peeling his face off and I'm just terrified behind the couch. But if you do have a favorite horror movie, what would it be?
So I really liked The Shining.
Oh, okay.
I always go back to The Shining with Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, I believe her name
Duvall,
is.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely always go back to that. Pretty good.
Yeah, so The Shining is not my favorite, but I feel like it's just because like I grew up knowing the backstory between Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick. And I feel like I had to have an allegiance, but I also then feel like Dr. Sleep came out, and for some reason, I just love, no shade to Jack Nicholson, but I love Ewan McGregor's performance as the son all grown up more than I liked Jack Nicholson's. Like, it was just a very... It's a great
so
one.
Good. I prefer Dr. Sleep as well. It's been a really long time since I've seen The Shining, but like Jack Nicholson's performance and Shelley Duvall, like, it's iconic and it's great. And just being isolated in the hotel in the cold, that's terrifying. It's terrifying.
And see, my dad grew up in Colorado, and I've been past that area where the Stanley Hotel is. And I've like seen it off in the distance, and that's just a whole lot of nope for me, man. That's really that's really not like, some people are like, don't you want to go experience it? And I'm like, yeah, that's an experience I'll take a brain check on. I just won't do it. But Dr. Sleep, I think it's just because too, you never, when watching that movie, you never think The Shining, you never think about how the son is going to grow up with all of this. And I think Dr. Sleep addressed it in a way where like it's him coming through with his trauma, and it's,
Ooh.
him kind of like loving the parts of him that maybe he didn't before, and really just kind of seeing things from a different perspective. And honestly, Rebecca Ferguson as a villain in there is diabolical. Absolutely fucking diabolical. Like, she is she is up there with like top horror villains. Like, she is, they call her like the woman in the hat, or I forget what her actual name is, but like, she is just, and it's heavy because kids are dying in that movie.
Oof.
Like, and Kylie and I are both kind of in the opinion, and again, we've always said that this might be a wrong opinion, but like, unless it's something really gross and scummy, kids should not be off limits in horror movies. Like, the real things happen in real life, and I'm not saying that you need to mow down a whole field of kids, but I'm just saying, like, you can't realistically say you're going to go through this experience and the kid survives just because it's a kid. Like, I think there needs to be some kind of baseline. But yeah, I think The Shining is a great one. So
I need to do a rewatch.
I feel like we
It's
do.
been a while.
We were talking about doing Dr. Sleep at some point, so that would be a good one too, with all the good books that are coming out lately. With horror movies.
Another one, I can't remember if it was the Night of the Living Dead that my parents had me watch when I was very little. And and I just remember having a nightmare of being chased by like dead like mummies, and they were chasing me and like biting brains or something? They were like biting into things and throwing them, or I can't remember, but I remember having a nightmare, and till this day, like, I'm so much older now, and it's still stuck in my head. Like, oh my God, like, this is horrific. It's so scary. Or even the Chucky doll. Remember Chucky?
Chucky's a big one. I feel like we kind of now, especially because of the series, like, Chucky now doesn't seem as bad, because I think, like, I feel like they ruined Chucky's scariness.
I still don't trust. I don't trust dolls.
I don't trust dolls either. But you know what? I don't trust. I think I trust the dolls more than I do Chucky. But like, Chucky, at least I feel like you can reason with him a little bit. Like, if you have some like mental just kind of like play his own shit on him and Tiffany both. Like, I feel like you can kind of do that. But I feel like but something do stay with you. Like, I remember, I don't know what it was about it, and now it's one of my favorite movies. And like, we're gonna see the directors at Scarefest at the fall. But like, I remember the first time I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I don't know why, but that just scared the shit out of me. And I remember walking my friend home after that, and I kept looking for like cotton candy cocoons that were gonna like pop out at me and like come get me. And I remember like thinking to myself, like, now I'm like, that's absolutely hilarious. But like, at the time, I was convinced that like alien clowns were going to come get me. And I was 13 at the time when I watched it. So like,
and how brave of you that you walked your friend home. I would have told her she can walk herself home.
She lived like in the neighborhood. I lived in one of those areas that like, I had friends where like we had neighborhoods connected. And so like, we could walk my neighborhood, and we'd go past my grandparents' house, and there was like an open field. It went to the other one, like the back end of that. And that's where my friends are. And then like, we had like a side street that had others, but I could walk there. That was like my big like thing. 12, 13, I could do that. But yeah, I remember coming home after that and being like, that was a poor life decision in my book. Like, I could have gotten by the aliens, but it's so funny now. So
how did your role in Bad Voodoo come about? Like, how did you audition?
So I worked. So yes, I actually auditioned for it, which was intense process with JR. I worked with JR on Killing Khan years before. And so when he reached out to me and he sent me the script, the original script, because the script went through so many different changes. The original script, I was like, yes, absolutely. He's like, love to have you, but then distribution gets involved, and then when he's trying to shop for distribution wants, okay, well, this is what we're looking for and these are the requirements. So then it becomes like, okay, it may not be you, maybe somebody else. So then they start looking for different people. So at this point, JR is really like, he's trying to get me to work on this and telling them, okay, listen, she's worked with me, she's great, but they still wanted to see what I can bring. So they had me audition. Okay, here's the first audition. Then he's like, okay, we're going to need more. So here's another round of auditions and here's another round. So I probably auditioned about 8 times for the role. Yes. And then at the last minute, they wanted somebody different. Distribution came in and felt that they wanted somebody different. Now at this point, I'm coming back from having kids. So I was away from the industry for so long. Well, I can't say so long, but it's a long time for when you're inactive for a few years. And so I'm coming back and they're not seeing that I'd been very current with new projects that had just come out or any. So they wanted somebody that was a little bit more fresh. It's still like they didn't have gaps, and more credits. And then at the last minute, I think it was like the same week we were about to start filming, he called and he says, Christina, I have no idea what happened. Like it was meant for you. It was supposed to be for you because the other girl dropped out. And so at the last minute, it's you. So I'm like, I'm trusting it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Absolutely. Because I absolutely wanted to do this. I love working in horror films. And I loved the script. I loved the story and I loved the team that I was working with. So that's how it came about.
That's so
I love
crazy
that.
that you auditioned so many times for it and they're like, this is who we want, but because of the distributor, they're like, no, we want this person.
Yes.
And I feel like
I don't even think they went with
fine.
that same distributor either. I think they ended up going with a different one at the end. Yeah.
I just think
that's crazy.
It's such a thing with filmmaking and these companies, they come in and they're like, this is what we want, this is what you need to do, instead of rather just listening to the artists, the ones making the movie, who wrote the script, the actors, when really they know more of what they're doing than what these companies want. The companies, is just about the money.
Yeah,
Right.
but we see a lot of this because one of the things that actually kicked off Horrorcraft reviews was we did the In Search of Darkness screener, and we've worked with Creator VC before, and a big part of that documentary, because they're talking about 1995 through 1999, and it's a horror documentary, and they go through the years and the horror films that were important. And I think that's so great because we do need to make sure that those films are committed to memory when it comes to that. But there were so many different stories within that film of people specifically messing with the films, and that's why the films were the way they were. And more specifically, especially in the 90s, the Weinsteins. But one story that horrified her and I, we had just finished watching Frankenstein. We had just done an episode on it, but they talked about Guillermo del Toro doing Mimic, and Mira Sorvino. They were messing with him so hard, trying to make him quit, saying they were going to fire him every other day. Mira Sorvino and a bunch of people in that film had to band together and be like, if you get rid of him, we're walking. Like, we're out. But, like, it's crazy to me that that's, like, the 90s, right? Tail end of the 90s,
Yeah.
and here we are now, but I feel like, especially with the boom of horror movies after COVID and just, like, streaming and the way that that works, and now with AI and everything that's going on with AI,
Yep.
I feel like we're still seeing things with studios, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
crazy to me. Like,
Yes.
I understand that you have to protect your asset. I understand that you have to make money. I understand that. I can't imagine the pressures behind that. But, like, at the same time, like, I feel like so many smaller artists get kind of poked with more than, say, like, certain people aren't, we're
Yeah.
poking at other people. So, um, but yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, good for you though, because those 8 auditions, I mean, you
Yeah.
honed it.
I wanted it so bad. Like I
You wanted it.
really, really wanted it. And you know what? This is what it's all about. I'd like to perform. This is what I love to do. And if it takes auditioning, all those, this is what the job is. So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. That actually kind of leads into my next story because I think the thing that I admire so much about Bad Voodoo is it is such a very hard thing to come by to find a role that really lets women, especially a female main character, play with the different themes the way that you get to play with in this. So Bad Voodoo obviously deals with power and consequence. How did you approach telling this story in a way that centers the story about female agency rather than like victimhood? Because I think the thing that I love most about your character is even though these things have happened to her, she never lets herself really be the victim of it. Like it's never like poor, even though it is like, this is what I've lost. It's never like poor me. It's more like you are fueled by feminine rage.
Oh, absolutely. The feminine rage, you mess with her offspring and it's just gloves off. And, and it's just embodying that feeling of anything that comes for my children, you will not get away. I will find any way possible, even in the spiritual world, to destroy you. So I just embodied that the power that us women we have, especially as mothers. The Not necessarily that how we could be as strong women, but also like mentally every resource that we can use within us to make sure that we attack and destroy whoever is coming for our children. Now, I also saw Abigail as being a bit of narcissistic
Oh,
and
yep.
a bit of
Yep.
narcissistic and not allowing for any guilt or any type of victim, feeling to come over her. So I embodied that as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you definitely did. But yeah, I could see that, especially when you do get to the end and you do see kind of the full brevity of her choices. And you see that. But yeah, I feel like it's almost like we see it in men. And, American Psycho is one that obviously gets praised for like how they portray narcissism. But the way that you portrayed it, I think also needs to be studied on the same level because when that like
Yeah,
flip
because
comes.
it's very subtle. It's
Mm.
very subtle, and you almost don't even really catch it as like narcissism. And I don't know, like even in the beginning, like I was rooting for you. Like hell yeah, we're taking these motherfuckers down.
Yes.
They took her kids. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it's the Pumpkinhead is kind of a almost a similar plot. The father loses his son to these city kids, and he goes to the cemetery and kind of conjures up this witchy pumpkin spirit that like is after like
A
getting
deformed
justice.
child.
Different, yeah. And you know, these other kids who were the reason for his son start dying, and he thinks like, it was this really worth it because they're getting hurt, but you don't really have that. Your character has none of that. But then again, they don't deserve that.
Yep.
Well, I think the difference though was in Pumpkinhead, some of those people that did end up like getting attacked, I think what he realized is they were just getting attacked by association. He had lumped all of them in together, and it was really
Yeah.
truly the one. But it really, he did kind of have this like come to Jesus moment where he realized my son would never want this. And so I have to go fix it. And ultimately, I mean, he gives his life up for it. And Pumpkinhead is that is a good reference because it is brutal. And same thing here, like brutal on both ends. I think you do bring up a really good point, which I kind of want to like piggyback on. How do you think women yield power differently in horror compared to how male characters traditionally do?
Ooh, we are psychological manipulators, and we definitely go into the psyche. Um, we're just so good at using our brains instead of our physical power, which that's what makes it so interesting. Men are more um we see the strong masculinity destroy and gore in that sense, but women, we see it more of like the mind games and what we can do with how our twisted mind can work you know
Yeah, there is that study that showed that women have the capacity to be more of a psychopath than men.
Yeah.
You know
So
what? Men make it. Some men make us like that. Okay, some.
Yes, I
You
would
know,
agree with that.
some,
some.
just some. Not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like there are a lot of women who've been driven to do some deep dark things because of a
Oh
man.
yeah. Yes,
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
yeah. I think the idea behind it, so I just watched it last night, but I like the John Wick movies, and I just so happened to decide, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna watch the ballerina movie with Anna de Armas, where she's like the assassin.
Mm.
I will tell you, I am so mad if they're never going any further with any of that, because the way that they portray the character, the way that they like talk about pain and using pain as a way to like they talk about like Kikimora, they talk about like her being a vengeful spirit, but then for the pure hearted, she's a protector. And
Mm.
but like the way that they talk about pain and trauma and certain things like that, I think are great. So
yes.
Yes,
Horror
absolutely.
has historically
I,
exoticized, can't read tonight, spiritual practices and often position women as either witches or victims. How do you want Bad Voodoo to challenge that kind of history?
No, we're not all, you know, witches and what was the other thing? It was
which
witches
Or
a spirit.
victims?
or
Yeah,
victims.
I think
Mm.
the perfect example of this is, I got to go back and forth about this, but The Craft. Although I love The Craft, I think what maybe The Craft sometimes talks about in a way that I don't necessarily like is Nancy and I'm trying to think of the other girl's name, but they are not mad at each other. it is the patriarchy really kind of forcing each other. If they had all really just leaned into their friendship and into their power and not been so scared of the power that was brought onto them and really these ideas, I think they would have been able to work it out on the remix, as we would like to say. Or, yeah, you kind of see that in the second one where they kind of have a same structure and they like pull it together, the newer, the craft. But I do think horror, especially with voodoo, if it's a woman, that witchcraft is this horrible, evil thing. And it's made that either if you're a witch, then you're this horrible, awful demon and it's nothing good, or you're a victim of like circumstance. Where I think in Bad Voodoo, you kind of really, your character really kind of goes, yeah, fuck that. I'm this person that used these things as a weapon, but
Yes.
I am not a victim nor am I, and that even could be to the detriment of her. But that's I think how we were trying to structure that question.
Okay. I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. But I will say one thing, that isn't that interesting that even in society, that's how we would normally, if we speak up or if we have a fit, it's either we are the victims or they're these raged out witches or
Yep.
whatever, like that kind of a same feel to it. But I love that there's opportunities in horror for women that can show that it's not just those two classifications, if you want to call it, but there is the power of the women that we will take those means to get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like a mother's rage is truly like no one can match it, because if something happens to my babies, like I'm going for blood.
Oh yes.
And it may happen immediately, it may not happen immediately, but like I'm coming for you.
I think it's also the rage we have for each other, for other women, because I think in the context of like women, if we see, like we've seen those experiments where like there are people passing by and this woman's trying to get help because like this person's dragging her along in a domestic violence situation and sending symbols, and how like there are different women that just pick up on it and immediately are like putting themselves in front of it, and it's immediately the instinct of, yeah, no, I'm not. Like, I will be honest, if I'm somewhere and there is a couple that starts fighting, my back immediately gets tense and I'm like, oh, nope. I'm like, nope. We don't do that here. We don't do that here, sir. Like, I think we kind of do that with each other even too. Like, I feel like that's kind of just womanhood. Like, we all kind of recognize that like nobody else is really going to do this, so we all kind of have to just do it for each other. And that's how like we band together. So do you see Bad Voodoo as a cautionary tale, an empowerment story, or something more morally complicated?
I say more morally complicated. We're definitely dealing with using the spiritual to alter what destiny really has for us. And I mean, not only on why we ended up in that situation, but then me trying to change, the outcome of what, was meant to be.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely, that's great. I would agree the same way. I think there is a part of a cautionary tale in it. Like I said, it is kind of like the wishmaster quality of it, of like, you think you want this wish, but do you really, when faced with the
Listen,
consequences of it?
you just don't You just don't mess with voodoo, man. You
No,
just don't
no.
mess with voodoo. You
Absolutely.
just
know-
don't mess with it. Don't touch
Yeah.
it. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Walk away. Like
Yes.
there are other ways. There are other ways of doing these things because, like, I'm not super into like the witchy stuff, but I do know like what you put out in the universe, whether it's good or whether it's bad, it's
Yeah.
coming back at you.
Exactly that.
And in this sense, that ending, man, that ending,
that definitely came back. So
definitely came back. Definitely.
Dude, we referenced that ending a couple different times of like what just happened,
Yeah.
like compared to different things, and it was yeah,
I
yeah,
loved it. I thought it was just such.
You don't see it coming.
yeah.
No,
You don't.
no. Like you kind of have a feel like something is not right here. But when he opens that door and he looks, and then he looks like, and also I just want to say like this movie and the practical effects were phenomenal. Absolutely
can I
phenomenal.
Tell you, we had Jordan Pacheco and oh boy, I'm forgetting his name again, but wicked talented individuals that just and these are things that they make at home. Like this is like something that they love to do, and when they bring these, I mean, Jordan would come in with body parts and I'm like, holy moly, this stuff looks so real. And just when they were like doing my gore and makeup and everything, which I freaking love. So that's the one thing that I love about horror films. It's the gore, and to see like guts and the blood and all of that. Oof, that's like, that's talent. And they were amazing.
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
I just think the authenticity of the voodoo part too, because you really don't fuck with it. Because listen, we've seen a really good example of like the positive side of voodoo, the positive side of like that mambo when it comes
to. What are you talking about?
I'm
What
talking
positive?
about I'm talking about Annie from Sinners.
Okay, Annie from Sinners. That is like she's like the angel of like voodoo.
Yeah. Hers is more mambo, and it's more of like that's the whole reason that like Smoke, he's saved, because you even see it when that whole ending, when he makes the decision he makes, he takes off the necklace, and that is what has been protecting him this whole entire time, and he knew it. He even challenged her on it in the film, but just the way though that I think there's sometimes when you do see voodoo in it where it is almost offensive in certain films with how maybe sloppy they get certain details, or they just like overly try to splash things. I think this was probably the greatest example of like meeting that like a level, that barometer of like just enough, saying enough without going over the extreme. So most definitely.
Yeah.
What does rage look like in your female characters, and do you think horror gives permission to express it in ways other genres don't?
Absolutely. I think rage is something that we're definitely allowed to express in every way we can in horror films. Very different from like a regular
regular role, like a dramatic role, like
a regular dramatic role. I would say, for sure.
Yeah, like your scream. I was like, holy shit, her screams in some of that
was intense. And that was when I tell you that, so that was all improvised in that moment. It's the realization that I missed out. I really missed out on saying my goodbye.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was my last chance. And that when I realized that, I'm like, I just couldn't contain myself. I couldn't contain myself. And I just remember that just came from like within my gut. Like I just felt it. And once the director called cut, I remember getting up and the extras were like all quiet and they're just looking at me and they're like, like almost like you could hear like their breath, like, like everybody was like, they didn't expect that. But that was a powerful scene. I felt it myself where I was
Yeah.
like, that was intense for sure.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt it in the across the screen.
Those
I was like,
those are the moments for women in horror that become scream queens, quite frankly. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Like, that was just like the guttural. It was perfect.
Oof.
I loved it. What advice would you give to women who want to tell darker and edgier stories but fear being labeled too much?
Oh no, never the too much. I say lay it all out and don't be afraid. There will always be a critic. There will always be someone that will say too much, but those are the people that don't get ahead because they're limiting themselves. Never, ever, ever limit yourself. Go for it. Who cares who's watching and listening? Just do it because life is short. And you know what? Those are the people that make a change in the world. The people that just like, who cares what everybody else has to say? Do it. You have the power to change history, to change your life, to do something. Do it.
I love that.
I think that's
I love
great.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
If Bad Voodoo opens a door for you in horror, what kind of story are you going to be kicking down next?
Oof. What kind of story would I be kicking down next? Well, I told you I want a vampire werewolf movie for sure. That's been something that I've always wanted. I mean, I am dying to watch Dracula right now on
Oh God.
Oh girl.
in theater.
Oh girl.
Oh girl.
So
You
when you said it's hard to get out to watch a film because we have kids, I felt it because that is my story.
Well,
it is
so
hard.
it is on digital now.
It is? Okay, so
Yeah,
now I
yes,
can
yes.
actually watch it.
Yeah. The reason I said that is because anybody who's listening to this goes, "Oh shit, Cash just got activated," because when we got to screen that early, that is normally I'm not the kind of person that would like go back and rewatch with like a screener and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I was just like, this is my whole personality. Even so much to the point where I'm in a Dracula group because she tagged me in something. And yesterday they made a post about like small businesses that are selling stuff, and I was like lurking with like a side-eye emoji and stuff, and she was like, how did I know that she was like, of course you're lurking. She was like, how did I know you would be? But it is so good. For anybody who says that it is not, I respect your opinion. However, I personally feel it is wrong. At the same time when I say that, but it is so good. It is just like, if you want a vampire story where it's like yearning and like passionate and stuff like that, the groundwork they lay for their romance story, even in the first 15 minutes of that movie, is just like crazy work. Like it is.
My God. Cassandra, I'm putting it out into the universe. It is going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yes.
I am going to be on a Dracula werewolf movie. It's going to happen.
You are. And Cassandra is going to be, Cassandra is going to be the person that's going to be like the car in Cars, the only one that was holding up the Lightning McQueen. thing, and I'm gonna have Cristina
Yep.
Moody, and I'm gonna be like, "You can do it! You can do it! Yay!" Like, I love vampire movies. That is my genre. Like, even in our logo, I have fangs. Like,
Ooh.
I carried around a vampire encyclopedia, but I could totally see you doing it. That's why when you said that, I was like, listen, anybody who's listening,
born for it.
anybody who's listening to this who needs one, yeah, you need personal references, I'll give Christina a personal reference. I will.
Same here.
Same here. I will put my name on that card. Whatever you need from me, I'll do it. So, but yeah, I would love that. But no, you'll definitely have to let us know what you think of it. But I think you'll love it because
it's just such a beautiful love story. Like
you'll cry.
I like vampires. You will cry, but it's just such a beautiful love story, and just like we just need to clone Caleb Landry, Dracula, for all the women in the world.
Yeah, Dracula is personally responsible in all forms for why I have such high unrealistic expectations of dating. Kylie tells me all the time, she was like, Cass, you can't have Dracula. I was like, you can't tell me I can't. I want these things.
And loved forever.
Yeah, I saw one because there's this whole thing going around now. Well, since everything has been proven true, vampires are the next one that's going to be. And somebody was like, I will be personally offended if vampires were true this whole time and they didn't come and pick me up, because I have been putting the signals in the atmosphere that I am ready, and they didn't pick up on it. And they're like, so that tells me one of two things. I'm either not attractive enough or you guys aren't using technology properly. Either way, send me a DM and we'll figure this out. And I'm like, that is me. That is me. I'm putting it out in the universe. So Kylie always says, if I disappear and she finds out it's a vampire, I'm where I need to be.
Don't put a missing persons report out. Like, she will get in touch with me at some point in time, but she's where she wants to be. She's with her people, and I'm
I'm with my people, but yeah, I truly I love it because, like,
actually you can't do that because I can't run Horrorcraft all on my own.
Yeah, listen, if I do get taken by I'll have to let them know I can only be taken for like a 3-day time period, and then I got to report back for Horrorcraft business. Okay, I'll let them know. I'll set the boundaries.
You can do everything horror on at night. Just don't go out in the sun, and you're good.
Yeah.
See, the thing that would piss me off about vampires is if vampires are true and Lestat isn't a real character, I will be pissed. I will actually be pissed. Like, there isn't an actual real Lestat, because that's like Kylie and I, we do like vampires, but the one thing that we really like both absolutely love is the way that they've done the Anne Rice universe.
Yes.
Yeah, and the fact that they're doing like the Vampire Lestat this summer, and they're doing like a tour with it.
So excited.
And stuff like that. Like, Sam Reed is truly like the perfect Lestat. And I just can't say enough about like what they've done for all of that. And that's someone who's like ridden hard from them her whole life. Like, Anne Rice was my bread and butter. We all know that Brewster had to help me navigate meeting Margot from that plays Jessie from Queen of the Damned.
Queen of the Damned,
yeah. And I met her, talked to her. She signed my actual DVD, and I thought I was going to pass out. I really did.
Yeah. My very first horror movie I ever watched with my dad was Interview with the Vampire, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise.
Oof.
It's a very fun.
Great.
Come on. Can we talk about gorgeous? Gorgeous.
Yeah. Brad
it
Pitt
is
as
really
vampire.
gorgeous. Like, let's say if the vampires really are real, do you think they're really that gorgeous?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they better
believe it.
be.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
I
That's
So
mean,
like
that's the dream.
yeah, that's kind of like their MO, like that alluring, like drawing in look, like you're not really sure why you're drawn in by this person, but like the eyes but
Ugh,
they're not coming inside unless you invite them in.
Yep.
So just know Cass is
yeah.
inviting them all in.
All right,
Yeah.
Cass. Let us know
yeah.
what goes
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, but for me, Sinners, like, I got why they did what they did, okay? But for me, especially with Jack O'Connell wearing the actual Sinners things on the red carpet for the Oscars, I'm like, if that would have showed up and asked to come in and he wanted like unity and wanted everyone to like have peace and he wanted to take down the KKK, I don't know if I would have a valid enough argument to save my soul. I don't. I'd probably be like, okay, you know what? It's slightly used anyways, so here, take it. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Remick, he's Irish and he's a vampire. Like I wouldn't be able to say no.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I
come on
wouldn't have been
in.
able to say. I the only vampire that I truly probably would say no to is the Dracula from Monster Squad. And like, you had beef with preteens, bruh. You had beef with preteens. Like, you
I
had
would
beef with
probably say I would say no to Edward Cullen Twilight.
Edward
that's
Cullen.
probably
Goodness,
I'd probably
Granted,
say no.
I was going nuts over Edward and Jacob back in the day. And then, you know what's funny? Then we grow up and we're trying to find that same feeling that we felt when we watched it. And we go to watch it again and we're like, what was that? It's almost like
Yep.
we're yearning for the mature vampire movie, you know?
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
like
see,
vampires, they kill people. They don't eat animals, but I can appreciate Twilight because I love the story with, Edward and Bella. I mean, it's just like Breaking Dawn part 1 and part 2 they're my favorite out of the whole franchise. But I
Yep.
mean, it's vampires and love is just they just go so hand in hand.
see, I think it ruined it for the moment Stephanie Meyer came out and said that she had imagined Henry, and this is Henry Cavill before Superman, before any of the other stuff. I remember Henry Cavill from the Tudors and like Immortals, and a lot of people don't realize that Henry Cavill dabbled in horror. He did Blood Creek and he also did a Hellraiser movie, but I remember because I was waiting for it. And especially Blood Creek, I remember when that came out, but like I was like, that's who should have been Edward. Like, I do, but I remember reading the books. I loved it. But see, for me, growing up, PC Cast books, like the House of Night books, those were like my Twilight books. And I remember reading those, but like, I think for me, reading the original Dracula was just different because it was just kind of like, because the original Dracula story isn't like the Dracula we see now. Like, it's not like Bram Stoker, Francis Ford Coppola's version has kind of definitely changed that. We've moved the pieces and parts. Like, Dracula is not really a yearner. That part did not come in until like the original Mummy movie. And you saw like Boris Karloff and him going after the woman and the mummy. But that kind of got ingratiated into like then Dracula as a character and stuff. But like, I don't know. For me, like, we know Gerard Butler. And his performance, and he just wants so bad.
Good Lord. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Kylie's like, Yeah, Kylie's like, we are one Gerard Butler a mention away
Can we
from getting a
get
restraining
through
order.
one episode? Can we get through one episode or one day where I am not hearing about Gerard Butler's Dracula and ceiling sex?
I didn't bring up the ceiling sex part. You did. Okay, I'm just gonna premise that. But no, the only reason. Okay, so that's in there. But really, what got it for me is like that part where he's crying in front of the cross, and he's like yearning for that part of him, but he wants to find that in Mary. There's something in that just like the way that people connected to Twilight, that connected to me. Like, I am missing a part of myself. I want to find it. How do I find it? And then realizing the ways that you are looking for it are not the ways you are going to get it. So that to me was very like, I meshed with that. But Twilight, I think Twilight gets over hate. I mean, listen, sparkly vampires are always going to be, to me, the Lost Boys. Like, they were the originals, you know, but I think there are way worse movies that have been made since then. And I would challenge somebody to watch Bermuda Tentacles and then go watch Twilight and tell me which one is worse.
Oh,
So
Valid.
yeah.
Valid.
Bermuda Tentacles, you know, you in the movie, you think Linda Hamilton is gonna like cold cock a tentacle creature, and no, it was weird. My eyebrows were messed up, and it's a sci-fi movie. Like, I didn't have much expectations, but like, yeah. So I think you could.
Oh, you still have not paid me my invoice for my therapy from watching that movie.
I have not made enough money to pay for your therapy, Steve's therapy, and maybe even the listeners' therapy. I cannot be. It's taken up with sci-fi. I cannot compensate. So, if you guys want to drop a line to sci-fi, even though we love them, and let them know, then go for it. But yeah. So obviously, Bad Voodoo is out on digital. And sorry that we just geeked out about vampires, but I love that you want to do a vampire. I love that you want to do a vampire movie. I want to see it immediately. So if anyone's casting, put Christina in there now.
Yes.
We need her in a vampire, a werewolf. Yes.
We need something.
Something. Maybe even put her in the vampire one, and then maybe we could even get like a Yeti or something. But
something.
We could vouch for her. So what is next for you after Bad Voodoo?
So after Bad Voodoo, I've been auditioning, taking classes, and just keeping on with the grind. Currently writing a script. It would be my first script that I would be writing, but I'm really loving the process, and we'll see what comes out of it, you know. So that's what I'm currently doing, and and hopeful for my next film.
Well, we're going to make sure that the world knows about you. Everybody go follow Christina immediately after watching this episode. Like we said, Bad Voodoo is out now. Hopefully, Christina, you know, even if you do a vampire film, you could write a vampire film for us. And put more women in there. I would love that.
Yes.
So yes.
Oh, how amazing would that be? The roles reversed.
Yes.
It's not the male that is going to hunt for their love. It's the woman. She imprints.
Well, originally before Dracula, it was a woman. It was Carmilla.
Okay.
So Carmilla came first, and then Dracula. So, Carmilla was widely not accepted. Yeah, it was widely not accepted because people did not like the themes of like women potentially loving another woman, and just like a woman being in power and stuff like that. So it was not grappled upon like how Dracula
When
was.
was
So
when was Carmilla?
Carmilla was, I'll have to look it up, but I think it was a couple decades, or at least a good decade before.
I think the
So
world we need a Carmilla.
the Carmilla
Yeah.
came out in 1872.
Oh.
So it predates Dracula by 25 years. And it is the one that truly popularized the lesbian vampire trope. But it follows a young woman who has a friendship with a woman, Carmilla, and there's just a lot of things going on, and it touches upon like the same things. But yeah, a lot of people forget about that, and because a lot of people then jump to like Elizabeth Bathory and like the Countess of Blood thing, but like Carmilla was the first. So
Well, I think you're ready. I think you're ready.
Yep. We need it.
Yep.
We need it.
We need it. We need it. It needs to happen. So but please go check Christina's everything. We're going to tag down in the description below. And
Thank you.
Yep.
go
watch Bad
watch
Voodoo if you haven't already.
Yes.
Do
go
it.
watch Bad
Do-
Voodoo.
Yes, go watch it.
Do it right now.
Spread the word. You do it right now. Spread the word. We'll put the link in the description down below. So all you have to do is tap it and go straight into it. But
Yep.
until next time, it's me, Cass,
Until next
and
time. Cristina
Kylee.
Moody.
and
Yay!
Cristina Moody. And this has been the Horrorcraft Podcast. And we will definitely have Christina back on in the future. So until next time, bye and stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.